Good afternoon and welcome. We begin with our top story. What do people actually know about the South River? Here to help us find out is our stream and field correspondent live from Riverfest, Southie, the mouthy South River fish. Southie?
When I first got here, people would go like, you're gonna go fish next to the DuPont plant? And now this is one of the better places to come fish in the state of Virginia.
Anything downriver of here was polluted and nobody wanted to eat the fish, or it was kind of more of a sewer than a river. Through the years, it's improved a lot.
Yeah, we saw some minnows. Yeah, and I went on a canoe. Second time. Last time was like 5 years ago.
We've seen snakes,
ducks,
right? Tadpoles. So it's taught us a lot about nature.
I came to Wynford for like a field trip so we could release some fish we've been raising their entire life.
My daughter's school, so out of Midlothian, Virginia, is here to release trout into the river. So they've raised trout as part of a school project, and we are here to release them into the South River. So have a good life.
Today is my mom's birthday. She's turning 45 today, and we've decided to come down here and spend the day for her birthday at the South River.
And it was one of the things when I first moved here that I was most envious of when I was watching the kids play along the river, is that I would have killed to have a river to play along. Just seeing them like swish splash around in it is fantastic.
We'll fish as much as possible. We'll float as much as possible, whether that's standing up or sitting down. And sometimes we'll just, if it's a really hot day, you might just put your feet in and hang out and enjoy the serenity that it has to offer.
And we are just having a fabulous time like we do every year.
My favorite part was basically every part.
Thank you, Southie. Now a word from our sponsors. Here we are along the banks of the beautiful South River. As I look around, I can see people enjoying themselves in their kayaks or fishing or even just strolling along the greenway. But did you know that this very same river, while clean and healthy for most of its life, also has a storied and quite stinky chapter in its history? We have a canoeing guidebook from the Shenandoah River from the year 1974. Now, this passage comes from the South River as it enters Waynesboro. The water is heavily polluted and is not fit for man nor beast. The spectacle of a clean, life-supporting stream being changed into a lifeless and ugly waste should make you stop and think. I can understand being in a canoe, that's one thing, but what must that polluted river have been like for a fish? From the mid-1700s up through modern times, the South River, with its abundant water supply, allowed for the growth of many industrial enterprises. Early on, this included many mills that produced flour, cornmeal, and other grains. Over time, as the country and region grew, industry expanded to include sawmills, forges, barrel making, furniture, mining, and other enterprises. Larger companies like DuPont and Crompton Shenandoah arrived in the late 1920s to manufacture fabrics such as rayon and corduroy. But all these industries needed a place to dispose of their waste. And it was commonplace, not only here but across the country, to use rivers. It was thought at the time that the flowing waters would dilute the pollution, or at least carry it further downstream. So the dumping just kept happening again and again.
Waynesboro is becoming known for its two-tone river. Stand on the Broad Street Bridge and take a look over the side and you'll see. The river is pale green to clear on one side and black on the other. The South River could run purple with yellow polka dots and there wouldn't be much that anyone could legally do about it. November 6, 1977, Richmond Times-Dispatch.
Water from the springs and things like that fed into Basic, and you had the crossroads of the trains, the Iron Cross is what it was called. And so people came in, they visited like from the hotter regions like Richmond and things like that. They would come and stay a month or so at a time with the cooler weather of the mountains, and you had every kind of sport, horseback riding and all like this. But it was a pretty popular area back in the 30s and 40s. It was just a good time to be had by all. But there were a lot of businesses that drained off into the South River. It's just how you wash things out. Never thought anything of what it might be doing to you in later years.
In fact, in the 1970s, a Virginia Tech study found that the river around Waynesboro's industrial area had 0 fish and little or no life of any kind. To quote the study, the water was darkly stained. The rubble, riffles, and pools contained a black, malodorous gunk, which loaded each net haul. The situation changed in the 1970s. The Environmental Protection Agency was created in 1970, and the Federal Clean Water Act adopted in 1972. This landmark legislation established a system of permits and treatment standards for industrial and municipal discharges, and therefore restricted the dumping of pollution into the nation's waters. And, importantly, more people in communities across the country, including along the South River, started valuing rivers for fishing, recreation, and as community amenities. Thanks to the efforts of many businesses, organizations, and agencies, the river became cleaner and habitat for trout and aquatic organisms improved.
The river was something to be used, and it was something to be feared because of the flooding that happened. Waynesboro has rebranded itself as a city that's not fighting the river and abusing the river, but is embracing it, and it's bringing in tourism dollars, and it's raising the quality of life for the people that live here.
I've seen the river go from different colors every day as a child to being able to go down to the river after work, catch up with a buddy, and catch some nice pretty trout.
If you've been here and moved here in the last 10 to 15 years, then that industrial heritage is not part of your thought process. We cannot build the Greenway fast enough. We cannot connect our Blueways fast enough.
The local residents, myself included, really benefit from having such a healthy town that's seated directly next to such a wonderful river. And the health of that is really important to the health of the town.
A lot of places, we're proud of where we came from, but they're not like they were, and they maybe aren't better than they were. In this case, we're better than we were.
The South River today is much healthier than when all those newspaper stories were written. You remember the Virginia Tech study from 1971 that reported not one single fish downstream from the Waynesboro industries? Well, in 2006, a survey from the exact same location reported 23 species of fish and over 500 individual fishes. In fact, now, the South River is one of the premier fishing destinations in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So next time you drive over the South River, or walk along its banks, or yes, Southie actually live in the South River, think about how much it's improved. But let's not stop there. It's going to take the entire South River community to continue to improve the waters and keep them clean and healthy for generations to come. The South River Watershed Coalition was formed to help educate the community and to take action to preserve and protect this outstanding resource. To learn more about the mercury remediation, the Virginia Department of Health Fish Consumption Advisory in place for the South River and South Fork Shenandoah, or the Promotores de Salud program, visit southriverwatershed.org.